Okay, so the next part now is creating the top and binding around the complete raw edge. So I've done one side already to show you, and I'll just show you on the other side. You match right sides together, the sleeve and the side of the jacket, pyjama top, so you can create the top. So if I show you, I've done it here. So these are the right sides of the stitching lines. So you match them and pin in place. You match your underarm area. Now, because you've sewn these seams down, these are nice and neat and much easier to find and position. And then you match down the sides. And then you sew that again with the same seam allowance. I've turned my stitch length back down again. Just catching that seam nicely because it's the raw edge. You go down to your stitch line for your basically what is the armpit, and then keep your needle in the down position, lift your presser foot and pivot that top round, and that'll let you get down the length nice and neatly. And you do that again for the other side. Again, needle down, press the foot up and turn your work. We're just going to trim that bias binding off flush with the sleeve now. So it all stays nice and neat. And also you need to clip your armpit, just so you get a nice bit of give when you're putting the pyjama top on and off Luna, or whoever else you're making it for. So you need to turn that out the right way. So now we're going to put binding all around the raw edge. And the raw edge is right around the bottom, up the front, around the neckline, down the other front, and back around the bottom again. So a lot of people pin this. What you're going to do on the corners is just round it off slightly. So I do take just a little bit off to make that process just a little bit easier. And it kind of rounds off here because you can't really sew bias on a corner unless you're doing a mitre corner on say like a quilt edging. When it's on this sort of item, you kind of round your stitches around. So I've got my nice long piece here. So I tend to start at the back just because you tend to look at the back of the item of clothing that you're making less than you do anything else. So it says in the instructions to pin as you go. I don't always. Sometimes I just feed it through the machine and pop it in as I go. I tend to find that a bit easier. You can of course just open up your bias binding and keep popping your raw edge into it. Bias binding is quite thick. As you get to the corner, you just kind of turn it into a curve. See if I've got that in the right place. Yeah, it's popping out. So I'm just going to sew as I go because I just prefer that method. But you get the general idea of pinning it if you want to pin it. So I go this way because I'm left-handed and that's how I prefer it. So to get me started, I think my pin's beginning to blunt. Let's go and buy some new ones. Okay, so same as you did before with the sleeve. So I find it easier to put my thumb like that and just slide it in as I go. Like that. Sometimes I like to hold a pin, maybe pin it like that. So I'm going to go up to about 1/2 inch away from that corner and then turn it a bit. Use my pin there to keep that nice and flat. It's just a little bit tricky when you first start doing it. Once you get into the rhythm of it, it's quite good. You just keep doing this all the way around until you get back to the beginning again. And that will be your pyjama top done. And you're onto the trousers. And it's quite an effective little make really, because it looks really, really pretty. And it looks very complicated because of the binding you've used. Because it looks all lacy and pretty. Just going to push that in with my pin a minute, make sure it's tucked in there nicely. Oh, it's popped open there a little bit, Mandy. I don't pull on that anymore. I think this fabric was just a little bit too soft for that seam. It's being cased now. Right. I have to say the Eden lights were lovely. Really, really pretty. The domes looked amazing at night time. They had a beautiful band in there playing like jazz music as well. It's quite nice. You could hear it from outside. It sounded amazing inside. And it was so lovely to go walking through the tropical domes and get all that heat after being outside in the cold. It was really, really nice. Well done, Eden, for that. It's quite a nice little surprise for my boys. They finished school today, so I thought I'd treat them. Start their Christmas holidays with a bit of an outing. Come on, open up, please. Thank you. Just make sure you keep it nice and flat and don't get too many creases in it as you go through. So now I'm nearly back to the beginning again. So I'm going to cut off those threads there so they don't tangle up the machine or anything. So let me get most of that point. So I'm just going to overlap by like that much. Then I'm going to fold it back in on itself so you get to get a bit of a neat edge. Don't have like a messy bit of bias binding sticking up. So fold that over, tuck that piece inside. That piece. So the last step really is to put your poppers on, but I won't sit here and hand sew poppers on unless you want me to. If anyone wants me to show you how I do it, then I will be happy to show you on a separate video. And then so you put them like here and here, and they would correspond to there, depending which way around you want it to fasten. Pajama top made. Just need the poppers. Or you can go that way. Which way around it for girl and boy? I can't remember the traditional ways around to have it, but that's her pajama top made. All nice and pretty. So I'll make her pajamas next, and then I will hand sew them up, and then I'll dress her and show you what it looks like at the end of the pajama one. So that's the pajama top made. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Do like and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.